Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. It's me here to talk to you some more about some stocks. But before we continue, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. It'll notify you whenever I make a new video. So the next viewer request I got from you guys was how do I do my research on a stock? How do I pick a stock? What do I look at before I pick a stock? So we're going to dive into that today. So just to start, I use M1 Finance to do all my stock investing. A lot of you guys might be thinking, why don't you use Robinhood? That's the most popular stock investing app. Personally, for me, and this could have changed by now. I haven't gone back and looked at it. I had a very bad experience with Robinhood. I held a lot of stocks that would have gotten massive gains, such as Enphase I've talked about before. I held 3,000 shares of that at $5. I sold that at a loss because I messed up in the past, right? I held Novavax at $1.40. If you look at that now, I think it's like $120 a share. I could have made a lot of money there. And I sold because I got some really bad information that freaked me out and made me panic as a young new investor. And I sold because I thought both of those companies were going to go bankrupt due to the information I got. So research information can be the difference between you making a lot of money and selling at a loss, right? So some key things I've learned from them is getting good detail, not trusting one source, looking at multiple different sources and forming your own opinion. Never just read what someone else is doing and do what they're doing. That's a really young investor mistake that I made back in the day. And yeah, so today we're going to go over what I would normally do, what my flow path is, I guess, for choosing a stock. So normally I start out and I think about a sector that I'm interested in, right? For me, I don't like investing in things I'm not personally passionate about. I usually don't touch things like the healthcare industry because I don't really know a whole lot about healthcare. But I do feel like I feel very comfortable in big tech. I feel very comfortable in alternative energy resources. And it's going to change from person to person, right? Based on what you're passionate about, what you know a lot about. But that's what's so great about investing is you can spend your time researching the companies and the things that you like, right? Because there's always a winner out there in some sector, right? And M1 Finance is great because it offers articles on every single stock from MarketWatch, Forbes, CNBC, Seeking Alpha, The Motley Fool, Investor Place, just to name a few, right? It gives you all of those articles. It centralizes them in one spot and allows you to read them all back to back to back. And so that's what I do. And for you guys that know a little bit more about stocks, and if you don't know anything, I'm going to dig into a little more about what makes a stock, what it's priced at and everything. So I'll also look at the price to earnings ratio to determine if I think it's overvalued or undervalued currently. I think right now the average in like the tech sector is a 28 price earnings ratio, which is pretty high, right? If you're new to that stuff. But if you look at some things like banks, like if you look at JP Morgan, their price earnings ratio is like 18.1 right now, which is very low. So that's like a value play right there. And I know it's weird to say JP Morgan's a value play, but just based on price to earnings, that's what I think right now. I also look at if they do a dividend, and if they do a dividend, I look at their payout ratio. So just to break it down, because I know some of you guys might not know what a dividend is. So either monthly, quarterly, or annually, if a company does a dividend, it varies from company to company, they will pay you per share of owning the stock, right? So that's nice, right? It's, for lack of a better way to explain it, the company is literally paying you for owning share in that stock. And that can add up to a pretty good amount. Usually it's, not that much. I think I don't own a lot of dividend stocks personally. I don't have a lot invested to make a large dividend. That's not my goal investing. It's more of a safer way to play. But I've made over $200 just from dividends, and that's money to reinvest in the stock market to make more money, purchase more stock, right? So dividends can be a really good thing to help you out. But if you're looking at a dividend stock, you gotta look at the payout ratio. Now, what the payout ratio is the percentage of the earnings that company is spending to pay the dividend that they're paying all their shareholders, because that money just doesn't come out of thin air, right? I tend to look for companies that don't go above a 50% payout ratio. You might get away with a good one if they're less than 60%. I personally say 50. I don't like it if a company is taking more than half of their earnings to pay the shareholders their dividend, right? Some really good ones to look at, like Disney is a dividend stock, but it only paid out like 24% out of its payout ratio. Johnson & Johnson's really good. They're a dividend king, which means they've increased their dividend every single year for the past 50 years, which is awesome. It's crazy, right? But the dividend payout ratio is good to look at, and the dividend yield is the other thing I'll look at for a dividend stock, right? So dividend yield is the percentage of the share price that the dividend is. So if you own a $100 share price company and their dividend yield is 5%, that dividend they will pay you $5 per share that you own, right? Which sounds pretty good. But another thing to look at with that dividend yield and that same thing with the payout ratio is, does it have room to grow? Is it sustainable? And do I believe in the company, right? Because if the company is paying me a 95% dividend yield with a payout ratio of 150%, that company is going to go bankrupt, right? They're spending more than they're earning on paying the shareholders. It's not sustainable, right? So it might look really good in the short term. Think about it. Hey, if I invest in this company, they already paid out that massive dividend last time. They're not going to be able to pay it out this time. It's not sustainable, right? So things to think about, things to look at. And personally, after I look at a price earnings ratio, a dividend payout ratio, a dividend yield, I look at its growth potential for me personally, how I think it'll do. And it's caused me to miss stocks before, right? But no one's 100% right all the time. So one that, for example, has continually proven me wrong is Apple. I thought, even a year ago, Apple's cornered the phone market. iPads, anyone who owns an iPad's kind of already got one. I thought in my head, there's no way Apple grows bigger than they are, unless they break in with Apple TV. And I think the streaming market's extremely competitive with Disney and Netflix and Hulu and all the other competitors. I don't think there's any way Apple really gets a meaningful share of that market and grows further. Obviously, I was wrong. I should have invested in Apple a year ago. I think they're up like 114% year to date, which is insane growth, right? So I'm wrong sometimes, and that's fine. For me personally, granted my experiences may not be your own, but for my stock picking purposes, I've been right most of the time. That's how I've made a lot of money, right? So I look at the stock's growth potential. So if I look at it and I think, man, it's already really peaked out. It might be a really big stock that a lot of people invest in, but I think they've really topped out. I'm not going to invest in them, right? And if I look at something and I think, wow, this has a lot of room to grow, but it's going to take a long time to get there, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll add it to my watch list. I'll check on it every week or so, see how it's doing, see if there's any new news. And if it starts looking more and more like that growth is becoming achievable, they're getting more market share, I'll buy in. And it does cause me to miss a little bit of earnings every now and then, but it is a lot safer for me personally. So those are the things I look at. And again, I have to emphasize, I highly recommend looking at stocks in sectors that you're passionate about. But don't confuse your emotion with investing. Don't see a stock go down and think, man, I have to sell. I made a bad decision, right? That cost me a lot of money in the long term. If I would have made better investing decisions, I could be a millionaire right now instead of six figures, right? But it's the way of life. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. That's one of the biggest tips I can give you guys is, if a stock goes down and there's nothing pushing it down, there's no reason it should go down, you go look at the news and they haven't announced bankruptcy or anything, don't panic, okay? As long as you do your due diligence, you do your research, and you believe in your company and your research, most of the time it's going to grow, right? I don't want to guarantee anything, but that's how I've experienced it. That's how I've seen it. And another thing, a way I'll find stocks, as weird as it sounds, is just in my daily life, right? For example, I found Vivian Solar because I was playing NBA 2K19 or 2K20, a video game on Xbox, and I saw an ad for Vivian Solar in the video game. So I thought, man, they must have spent some good marketing dollars to get into this video game. Let me look at that company. So I looked at the company. I believed in their growth. I did my research and due diligence, and I bought quite a bit of shares at $5 a share, and I sold it at $20 a share. Made 400% gains on that because I saw it and I did my research, right? Never just think about something and go, well, I've got a lot of paper towels. I'll look up like Bounty or who owns Bounty or that company, and I'll just invest in them because I buy those all the time, right? Do your research, right? You get in the stock market what you put out of it, or what you put into it. Like you get out what you put in, right? Do your research. If you guys have questions, if you're looking at something and you're not sure, feel free to ask me. I'll give you my own personal research and what I think on it. I'll never tell you what to do, right? I don't want you guys to be making decisions based solely on me, right? Do your own research, come to your own conclusion, because I don't want you to be in a spot where you can't reach me and you don't know what to do with the stock, right? Make your own decisions, do your own research, right? So we went over price to earnings ratios, we went over dividend payout ratios, we went over dividend yields, we went over sectors you're passionate about, and we looked at growth potential, right? And we also talked about how minimizing that emotional impact of seeing a stock go down, because it's going to happen. Stocks don't go up 100% of the time, right? Believe in yourself, do your research, and you can do it. I believe in you guys. I didn't think I would be at this point in my life so early on, but I believed in myself. I did my own research, and I made it happen, and you guys can too. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I've proven you don't have to be one to make a lot of money, right? So if you guys have any questions, please hit me up. Tomorrow or later tonight, I'm going to be posting a video of my top 10, I guess 5 sectors to look at, and I'll give you about 2 or 3 stocks in each sector I think you should look at for the next week. If you didn't know, next week is going to probably be pretty volatile just due to a lot of retailers reporting their earnings, such as Walmart, Home Depot, Target. All those guys are reporting their earnings, and that's going to really show how the economy is recovering, or if it is, from COVID-19, right? A lot of these guys are expecting to report pretty big losses, and I think it'll move the market as a whole. So keep an eye on it. If you guys have any questions, please message me. Please leave it in the comments below. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and good luck out there. Bye.